Welcome students. Today let's try to understand a case study that's happening down south in the city of Hyderabad to understand the tussle between various development models and at what cost the development could be, and the pressure on environment could lead to the urban flooding and how to tackle with them. Okay, without any delay, let's understand the development model of environment versus economic growth. Okay, if this is the case, the first problem that we have is about the resource of land. The land is limited resource. So when the land is limited resource, the scarcity of land can't be addressed abruptly. You need a proper town planning and urban planning methods that can prevent the abrupt problems of heavy rains and associated problems like flooding. So we need to ensure the natural water bodies which are existing could absorb and act as shock absorbers, and the sponge city is established, and for which we need to prevent encroachment of lakes. So for this, let's understand the case study of Hyderabad, which was earlier called City of Lakes. So this city of lakes today has been encroached and many structures have been seen today in the places where lakes existed. So today let's understand the environmental aspect about it and how courts have addressed it. Along with that, there's a organization establishment called Hydra, which was established to bring down the structures to ground which are not according to the development model of respecting environment. Okay, so for which there's a executive order that was passed to create a organization by name Hydra with a DIG level officer being executive head and chairman as chief minister. The purpose of this is to bring autonomy from Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation's wing of enforcement, vigilance and disaster management wing. This has been remodeled and it was given the autonomy to protect through mitigative action. That means before flood comes or before any disaster happens, you take actions to mitigate them rather than going for post action. By the time the damage happens, you have nothing to do with it. So Hydra would stand for Hyderabad Disaster Response and Asset Protection. This has been given a responsibility with the jurisdiction of Telangana core urban region, which means to understand this jurisdiction of Telangana core urban region, you need to understand about the core city. Usually it gets expands with its satellite area. Hope you understand what satellite area is, which is suburban region in the periphery of city, which includes, for Hyderabad there is an outer ring road which covers connectivity with the satellite areas. So it is similar to what Gurgaon's and Noida's would be for Delhi and what Nasik would be for Mumbai. So that's how this core urban region includes not just the core city, but the ambit extends till its satellite areas. Till then, in this area, if there is any encroachment of lake, you can bring down the structures is the mandate given. So how would they identify whether the lake has been encroached or not? So for which they have tried to understand this terminology. There is something called full tank level. Okay, this full tank level is something, if the lake is very much full and overflowing, what would be the buffer zone till which the lake would exist? So including the buffer zone, the boundaries would include to be termed as full tank level. So within the full tank level, if there's any structure, then you can bring down that structure, is the mandate given to this hydra. Okay, now friend, if this is the case, then why was the permission given in first instance is the question. Because the problem of right to clearance that was given in Telangana is the problem. So what does this right to clearance mean? There is something called TS I pass and TS B pass, which means building pass and industrial pass. To avoid red tapeism or delay in approvals, there's a scheme that if you don't get approval within 14 days, it is deemed to be cleared. So the permission, if it's not granted within 14 days, it is deemed to be cleared. So in the hurry, many structures started constructions without any approval or without the final approval, and it was deemed to be permitted. So this problem has allowed many people to construct within the full tank level. So this is one problem. And another structure which was identified, another kind of encroachment. To understand that, we need to understand what shikim lands are. What does shikim land mean? Suppose there's a lake or river or some riverfront or some water body. Assume this is the level. And from here, by summer, this would recede to only this level. So this part was allowed to cultivate. So agricultural activity was allowed here. And this is something like assigned land that is not being owned by any private person, but this agricultural activity which was permitted during the time of summer where water body would recede back. So this agricultural land was later converted into some structure. So the shikim land which was not granted any property right was converted into a private property. So this is another kind of encroachment. So both of them are being brought down. Okay. Now, with all these things, you understood the environmental aspect and geographical aspect of it. Now let's get into the aspect of what happens with the problem in courts and how the legal jurisdiction would deal with it. So first thing first, Article 21 would be examined, because right to life includes quality life, right to environment, right? So any floods that may come and any kind of encroachments would violate this. But the same Article 21 is used in Olga Telly's case, that even someone who is trespasser can't encroach or can't take away the right of people who are living in footpath as well. When you ensure the right to residence is not denied even to the footpath, so how could you bring down these structures? Those who are residing in those places, how can you not rehabilitate them first and bring down those structures is the question. So it's an ethical dilemma which court has to make sure. It's not the right to property that prevails, but right to environment would prevail is what the pill which was filed by Mr. Vyas. And there's an activist by name Mr. Vyas who got his pill back in 2008, and even the pollution control boards, NGTs, all of them unanimously said that no encroachment could be encouraged. Yes, but there can be a delay till the time people are rehabilitated. Okay, if this is the case, we understood the legal point of view. What can be the economic implications? Will they really impact the situation of what do you call ease of doing business? Because this kind of haphazardness which is being claimed, because bringing out structures by government might be against the industrial structures that may be allowed to have right to clearance. So the question is, there may be a delay in creating this kind of activity of bringing down the structures, but in long run, having a better environment creates a better city that can sustain, and that city can be more favorable to what would you call that, as a better industrial place where you will not have problems of business continuity. Business continuity is the topmost priority of ease of doing business. So when business continuity is ensured, ease of doing business would be enhanced. How come business continuity is improving if you're doing this? Because you're creating a better structure that can act as a sponge city. You would prevent floods. When there is no floods, business continuity plan would be enhanced because there is no disruption in your business and the production activity. Along with that, even the employees who work there will find the transportation and the mobility better because the structures are well planned hereafter. Hope you understand the various dimensions involved in this case study. This could be useful for your ethics case studies when you are asked to suggest measures, or you can be taking these points that we discussed today where you would be asked to suggest measures to prevent urban flooding. You can quote this example. Along with that, there can be another question on how the environmentalism is part of the transformational constitutionalism under Article 21. So all these things could be useful for your examination in corresponding papers. Another day, we'll take up another example and another case study from another part of India so that we can analyze them properly to ensure the exam relevance is met and we can take some content that would be useful for your examination. Till the time I come back with another case study, it's time to bid adios. Thank you.